Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to Project Mosquito.
In this episode, we're going to be making our lift part of our hinge.
It looks like a car and it feels car-shaped. You cut out.
I'm not sure it's going to work.
I am. Have faith, Father. So first things first, we need to make an addition to our mock-up.
Yeah, we need to make the little rising part to our butt hinge.
Yes. We need to turn it into a lifting butt hinge.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so butt lift, here we come.
And the idea is that as the door opens, it moves away from the front of the car, round and up the A-pillar.
So I need to make
A bush.
a bush. And we can cut the part of the hinge down, put this on, cut the part of the hinge down so they come and then they lift together.
Now then, will it slide out or is it all burred up?
They'll do the job.
Oh.
Well, normally it's a helix.
Yeah.
So this is what we want to achieve. We want to go from door closed to door open. And they've got that distance between there and there is the lift.
And because it's on an angle, it should also move the door backwards as it opens, if you will.
So yeah. So we need to chop the old mill off this.
Yep. Hold your door. Do you want your little rule? We've got it. Are you prepared?
So that now, we can clock these to the right position. We can tack one on one side, tack one on the other.
Yep.
And that will give us our lift. Yep. So this hinge there just lines up with that.
So highest point of lift on our shim needs to be horizontal with that wiggly line that you've just drawn. Yeah?
Yeah. It does actually move now.
Was it?
Right.
Door off?
Yep.
Must make riveting telly. Watching two people fiddle with two small bushes within a door that the viewer can't see, nor can we.
Right. Right, that's the point there. So if we just get the welder now, and we'll tack it on. Because that is our highest point of lift there. So the hinge comes round to there. I meant wait. Hang on. Oh, look at that.
Good. Something just clicked.
Yeah.
Something just clicked. Did we pop a tack?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know. You put it back.
I can't.
Go on, put it back.
I can't.
You can.
I can't even run.
Oh, it's just a bolt.
Did it lift?
It did indeed.
Well, we're not going that far, are we?
No, but I'm just checking it's rotating. Yeah, it's rotating fine.
But do we have sufficient rearwards movement? I'll tell you what, there's no difference in the difficulty of opening the door. I can tell it's moved backwards though, slightly. That's a bit stiff.
Yeah.
We need to put front clamshell forward now, don't we? Really? I'm stuck on that now. I need to push it into its locked position, yeah?
Yeah.
Go on. Now we currently have a little bit of a conundrum because, yes, the door currently hits the front clamshell.
Yeah, just touches this edge.
Glamorous assistant, right? But I'm not getting you a gold leotard, right?
I'm not wearing one.
Right, but the front clamshell isn't as the front clamshell is going to be because the front clamshell does not follow the rules of coach building at all. So for example, this line, which runs from the headlight, is supposed to run from the inside of the headlight to the body line. That is not the body line, right? I think the idea was it was used for like bonnet extraction of radiator heat, maybe, if I'm generous.
Well, no, because the original GTMs had the radiator in the back, didn't they?
No, only in like the mid 80s did someone start putting the radiator in the back because I think it was just laziness. But I think if I'm generous, this is for extraction of radiator heat. The fact that this one has foam on so that it doesn't rub, that's by the by, right? But this is all wrong, basically. And so when we do our arches, we need to re-sculpt this part of the arch so that this line comes and meets our body line here.
Yeah, because it don't matter what hinge you have. If your car body is designed to have conventional opening doors, there's no way of making a standard body shape like this into a
the problem
Mosquito
with
window.
the problem with the GTM is that the guys who designed the GTM were not car designers. And so they did a bunch of stuff that you're not supposed to do. So for example, the front of the door is way too short and would never be this short on a car that was designed by a person who went to school for car design, right? This line here on the body just goes nowhere, and it's supposed to run to your body line. In fact, you didn't even know where the body line was on a Mosquito. I had to point it out to you, right? Because the body line on a Mosquito is here, not at the top of the headlight. So we're going to put our big new headlights in that you've all seen. Then we're going to make the top of our arch our body line, like it would be on a car, right? And then this line is going to run from here into our body line. So our top of our headlight will become our body line, and that then flows right the way to the rear, where we also have a body line here. So body line comes along, becomes top of door, goes along, becomes top of wheel arch, but also a body line runs from this point round to the corner of your headlight. Every single sports car ever, right? Except for a GTM. Yeah. So
yeah, from an E-Type to a Ferrari GTO.
Yeah, to a brand new Ferrari Dodge Cylindra, whatever they are, right? All of them ever, anything that's any good, even pre-war stuff, right? So that's what we're going to do. We need to fix this because it's bulky and horrible and horrible.
And for aerodynamics, it's even worse because it literally funnels the air straight into the windscreen.
Yes, and doesn't allow the air travelling up the bonnet to come down the side of the car. I thought we were going to say Ferrero Rocher then. I don't know why. I must be hungry. In the future, when we do remodel everything, this has to change because it's just wrong. I mean, these pontons, which is what the name of the part of the car is, right? The pontons aren't even where the wheels are. Like, the center of your tire is supposed to be in the center of your ponton. Well, on a GTM, the center of the ponton is not even where the tire is, even on a standard car. So these wheel arches are wrong, even on a standard GTM, and this bit is wider than the wheel arch.
Yeah, it's wrong.
So we're going to fix it all.
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-22 situation because we've got the bodywork that we're using as a mould that we need to reprofile completely. You know, the clamshell, the doors, the rear quarter, the roof, obviously on both sides, and make a hinge that all goes together, even though at the moment it's all an imaginary shape.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be this shape.
Well, no, with this shape, the silhouette will be
but what
similar.
we wanted to just prove in this is that we can make a hinge that actually fits inside there that works.
Yeah.
There's no point going to all this trouble and then you find out you can't make a hinge.
Yeah. But, right, what we need to measure is how much the hinge moves rearward first, because we need to figure out if our spiral is correct. Yeah? That's why we did this. So we're currently at 20, we'll call it 20 mil. Stop. And that is 25. It's more than you think.
More than you think, yeah.
And here, it is 15. Open. Oh, it's less. So there it goes in. So it will have to have a scallop there anyway.
Yeah.
But for most of the door, that's currently, well, now it's free, so it's free in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yes, it does move backwards before it moves forwards, which is what we wanted. Are you happy with the amount, or do you want more? These Mark 1 spacers are 10 mil. These Mark 2 spacers are 20. However, when we opened up our Mark 1 spacers, we realised that it gives us, we said 16 mil, yeah?
Yeah, so we've got...
Of extra height. So you get 16 mil lift with your 10 mil spacer. With your 20 mil spacer, you get 30 odd.
32.
32.
Oh, you get double.
So, yeah. Oh, so you've made, yes, you do get double. So you double your spacer gives you double your stack height. That's what didn't compute in my head because you said you were going to make them 15.
Yeah, but...
You're doing it, so you might as well make them.
If we're going to make them to extreme, like make them to extreme.
The good news with these Mark II spacers is that if we have any difficulty clocking them, we'll be able to drill them and put a grub screw in the back, won't we?
Yeah.
Because obviously the bolt doesn't rotate. The bolt that goes through it all doesn't spin. The door spins on the bolt. And so we could make one part out of a bush material and have the other part clockable or what have you. The thing is, we are forcing a body that wasn't designed for butterfly doors to use butterfly doors, but the reality is also that this body wasn't designed for normal doors either because it doesn't follow any of the conventions of coach building. No. The doors are way too short in this direction, which we're going to maintain because that's part of the car, but certain other conventions that weren't followed are causing problems. And
yeah, these problems cause problems in the original door hinges. That's why the
yeah, it was never made for doors. Somebody drew a thing down and then went, okay, let's make a hinge for that, and they weren't really good. So,
and they never fit properly. So
no. Well, let it rest on the.
The bolt's too short. Need a little longer bolt. There's no bolt left in top here.
Yeah. So it's wobbling all over the shop.
Yep.
Right, will you just pass me Dremel a minute? There's a big blob of weld here that I need to remove.
You're not good with grinder.
Got it? Yep. Ah, door shuts now. Marvellous. So it ran into there before and now it runs into a spot that's slightly further up. But let it. Yeah. So we're no more better off with 20 mil than we were with 10.
Nope. I just meant to say, in a way, it makes everything kind of worse.
Yeah.
Because it takes all the strength out of the hinge.
We've got all the issues of the weakness, but none of the benefits of the extra strength, yeah?
In fact, when it's sat down there, look, when it's pulled down, it does actually clear it. Go on. Down. Down. When it's in its spot.
Yeah.
Right.
We need to park the bonnet properly, don't we?
Yeah, just lift it again. It does actually clear it.
Yeah?
Just. But only just.
Yeah, because we were nowhere near that before, were we? And with the DC min like this still has its lip on it.
Yeah.
In fact, it's not even rounded. This edge, that still very much has a lip on it.
Like this.
Yeah. I haven't cut the lip off. And this needs to be rounded, but this needs to be rounded as well. And it will all flow into the door. It will all be the same line. because none of, it's not the GTM's fault, right? But it's silly things like the sills on our car are the same contour as the body. On a GTM, they're not.
They're flat.
They're flat, right? This contour is nothing to do with this contour on a GTM, and we want it to be, because we want it to follow the rules of coach building and body lines. And so we've just got a lot of work to do. So, after much testing and deliberation, we've come to a conclusion. And that conclusion is that my idea was terrible. Right. Right. We can't screw cut with our lathe, can we?
No, and what we need to do is make a helix where the two components touch all the way around.
Yeah.
Basically. So they make contact through the full circle. So they basically... Well, what we've done, because making our pins like we've done, we're only getting point contact, so the further away the circles go, they end up being on a point.
And just touching tips.
And touching tips, which is no good, because in no time at all, they would wear out.
And the whole point of this car is that we're designing it to be serviceable, because nothing lasts forever, but to last at the test of time and to be a quality thing. And that's not a quality thing.
No.
So, because we can't screw cut, because we can't make something that all beautifully rubs all together all the same way, we're just not going to bother.
No.
And we're going to make a plain hinge on an angle, basically.
Yep.
It's not kind of what we wanted, but it's the best solution. And it's the best solution with the tools that we have.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Sometimes...
we said right at the start of this video, didn't we? One of the main prerequisites to do this is that
it's a good job I speak Dad.
It is. It's a good idea. It's a good thing that we can actually make the thing.
Yeah.
It's no point. You can have all the dreams in the world, but if you can't put them into fruition
and make a quality thing.
I mean, we could actually do them by hand, but that's like a month's work.
Yeah, nobody wants next 10 videos just
no,
to be
watch 10 minutes with us.
Only in a part of a door hinge.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we now have all of our dimensions. We now have everything we need. We're not going to make a finished hinge that won't work. That's what, because I think in the end of the last video we said that we were going to do the whole lifting thing arrangement when we make our proper hinge, but it needed testing. And now it's tested, and I'm glad we've debunked it now rather than later. That's the real benefit of this thing, now rather than later, because it could have been a right palaver.
Yeah, it could have been a disaster later down the line. Yeah,
and so
at least we found out what doesn't work.
Yes, that's it.
And we know what does, so now we can adjust the bodywork accordingly.
Yeah, and I'll admit, I'm frustrated, I'm disappointed, because I have these crazy ideas, and most of the time they work.
Yeah.
To all of our shock, if I'm honest. But, yeah, sometimes not so much. And that's just life. And that's kind of the fun of coming into a workshop and experimenting and doing stuff you've never done before. If you always do what you've always done,
you never learn anything.
You never learn anything. It's a bit like in life. If people get scared of getting lost.
Yeah.
Right? And it's silly. You should never be afraid of getting lost.
Yeah, it's one of the nicest things. Well, you come across something you've never seen before.
Exactly. When you're lost, you're in a brand new place you've never seen before. How cool is that? Loads of people go through life and they've only ever been where they've gone, and they always know where they are, and how boring is that? And the thing is, if you never risk getting it wrong, you never risk getting it right. And so, we live and learn. So yeah, like this door hinge, it were a bit wobbly before, but that's ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah, we need to return to. Unfortunately, we've cut all of our practice hinge up in order to achieve this. All right, geometry hasn't changed or anything like that.
And that's the important thing. That's the geometry bit in the measurements is what we needed. So we've got that. That's the hinge that's on there now is irrelevant. Yeah,
it's made of scrap. And it looks like it's made of scrap, and it's nothing to do with the final hinge. And now all we need to do is kind of finalise our design of our final hinge and make a really posh hinge that's like really big and chonky and strong.
Yeah, and they'll really, really last a test of time.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of having it in this part of the door, because this is the strongest part of our door. Our door catch goes on this side, our hinge goes on this side. We've removed the need for the bracket for the window frame because that's now integrated into the hinge, and yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. And we've made a lot of progress on kind of the planning and design side of things. Yeah. In fact, we've pretty much finished the design of the car.
Yeah, we until yesterday afternoon we had vague ideas, but we spent a couple of hours just marking everything out and just making a few little adjustments.
We had like. It's a funny thing, but there's certain things that you can draw the whole car out as many times as you like, but there are little tiny details that you won't finalise. Things like, where we're going to put indicator stokes. That's been one for me for ages. Where I'm going to put indicator stokes. What door catches are we going to use? I don't know if I mentioned this in last week's video, but your door catches are also a lot to do with your ignition barrel, because your ignition key wants to be the same key as your door latches, and so until you've finalised what your door latches are, and obviously we have a rather unique predicament with our doors and our door latches in that we haven't got doors that we're going to use. And so until we finalised how thick the door would be in its final state with the wheel arches on, we didn't know what door catches to use. And we've considered everything, haven't we? Yeah. MX-5, Porsche 914, Fiat Coupe, and we're not going to use any of them. And I'm not going to tell you what we're going to use. You're going to have to wait until we do it. But yeah, I'm really happy with where we are actually with the car at the minute. It's
been an odd couple of videos this, but
sometimes
we just needed to do it.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to do a lot of working out. But I'm really happy where we are with the car. And yeah, even though it don't look like it, because we've got a little bit of finishing off, a little bit of door hinges. We're going to remake this panel because we're not happy with it. We're going to remake this in aluminium, not today, but we are going to. And then we're going to make the panel in here in aluminium as well, with flush fasteners and all that. So, and then engine out, suspension off, everything off, paint it underneath.
Yeah, then we've got to drill a few more holes in as well to run our brake lines. And
well, that's the beautiful thing about taking the engine out and all that to paint it, is we can run all the brake lines then. And then Alex from Torx Products will be like, yay! Because he sent us loads of AN fittings and loads of brake line stuff and all that kind of thing. And we haven't been able to do anything other than put our beautiful master cylinder reservoirs on there. I really like them. They're actually one of my favourite parts of the car, which is really sad, because like they're the only thing we haven't made. Other than the engine, but I do really like them. They're all smart. I couldn't if I had what a lovely thing to send someone stuff.
Superb, yeah. But thank you, Alex.
But if I'd have gone to
Torch UK,
if I'd have gone to search out and find something, I couldn't have found something better than that and more nicer than that. So well happy with that. But yeah, really, really happy. Which is bizarre because I'm also really sad because my idea didn't work. Yeah. But there we go. Sometimes you should put it out of your misery. All right then. Thank you to all of our Patreon supporters, especially Andy Wood, Alex Bottomley, Doug Shott and Steve Schriefer. And I'm very sorry for getting names last week. I don't do names. I don't know why is it always me that does Patreon? I have no idea. I'm the one that can never, I barely remember my own name. But I want to thank every single person who leaves us a comment of encouragement, because on weeks like this, we really need it. And if you don't know what to write, then leave us a Mosquito.
Yep, so please leave us a comment if you can, and give us a thumbs up. Give us a like.
Yep, thank you so much for watching. Please be awesome to each other. It's now the next day, and we've had a little bit of time to ruminate, and we felt rather defeated when we filmed the outro. The problem with feeling defeated is that you lose perspective, and in that loss of perspective, we didn't take away from our experiment what we should have. What we should have taken away from our experiment is that with just the 10mm rise in our little wedges, we achieved sufficient movement rearwards to clear the front clamshell, which is huge. That's what we actually needed to know, and that's what we learnt. We also learnt that we cannot make a sufficient spiral shape with the tools that we have. Okay, or rather the method that we were using. That doesn't mean that it's absolutely impossible. And we've had a little bit of time to think. I've come up with a couple of ideas of how we can make that spiral shape, and Dad has come up with a couple of ideas about how we can adapt that spiral from something else to achieve sufficient lift, right? And now we know how much lift we need. That's huge. The problem is we want to be able to go to a supplier and look at stuff, look at materials, and think about our options, consider our options, and then make a video. We don't want to just keep on like experimenting and making, 4 videos of experiments. And that shop's closed. So we can't do that. But, like I said, the takeaway is we know how much lift we need. We have methods and possibilities of achieving that lift in a reliable, maintainable and quality fashion, and we are not giving up on a lifting hinge. That's the good news, right? But there's very much something to be learnt from that, isn't it? The loss of perspective. The thing is that sometimes when you rush, it becomes no, it's not doable, no, it's not possible, when it actually should be, no, it's not possible right now. It doesn't mean that tomorrow you're not going to think of a better way, And so I just wanted to tell you all that we haven't given up, that we've thought of possible better ways, and you've got all that coming. So I want to thank you all for watching. Please be awesome to each other, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.